We lose thousands of lives globally every year because of infections that can no longer be treated with existing drugs. We are running out of antibiotics, and we have reached a point where there are hardly any treatment alternatives left for certain bacterial infections. Antimicrobial resistance is one of the biggest threats to global health, food security, and development today. It happens due to use and abuse of antibiotics, leading to germs like bacteria and fungi developing the ability to defeat the drugs designed to kill them. We spoke exclusively to Malin Grape, the AMR Ambassador from Sweden, to understand the global threat and what's needed to combat the situation.
I would say that both recent and previous data show us that the threat of resistance is only increasing. And the most recent study that we have showed that globally 5 million deaths are associated with antibiotic resistance every year. So this is huge, and it will only increase more unless we do more to counteract this. I really think that the abuse of antibiotics it's the most important reason for us being in this situation today. All use of antibiotics is driving resistance development, and this is why it's so important to understand that these drugs, these life-saving drugs, should only be used when they are really necessary. That is of course a huge question, because there is so much that we need to do. We need to prevent spread of resistance, prevent spread of infections, and we need to counteract the abuse of antibiotics. We need to use them responsibly, but we also need to make sure that we have development of new treatments, because right now there is resistance to all antibiotics that are existing today that we have at hand. So with international collaboration, I would say that we both need to learn from each other in maybe bilateral collaborations as the one we have between Sweden and India. But we also need to go together and make sure that all countries commit at highest political level to fighting this threat to global health together. And then, of course, it needs to go back again for the countries on the ground to do the work themselves. But we need also a bigger movement. We need to have this issue on top of the political agenda. And this is also where I think India could have played a leading role. Sweden, being president of the EU Council, could work together with India as president of the G20, and to really push for a stronger global response to this threat. I think this is a very important aspect, because around the world, people of course trust their doctors. So to make sure that they know when antibiotics are necessary and when they are not, this is of course extremely important. Then I think at the same time as we educate the medical professionals, maybe not only the doctors, but all medical professionals so they have the same view, we should also educate the public to raise the awareness and understanding of this threat. Will also make them trust their doctors when they chose not to prescribe antibiotics, so not having the patients pushing for antibiotics, but to understand that this is something we need to do together to counteract the resistance development. It's also a huge question, of course. We need research in all areas. We need research in how to best implement policies. We need research in how to transform food systems, for example, because a lot of antibiotics are used in animal and food production. But I would also say that what is extremely important is to incentivize the research and development of new treatments. Because there is resistance to all antibiotics that we have at hand today. We haven't seen any completely new antibiotics since in 30 years. So all the ones we got since then are only variants of existing antibiotics, meaning that resistance will develop very quickly. So we need to revitalize the antibiotic pipeline and really make sure we have a development of new treatments.